Okay, it's that special time of the show. It's called Cleared for Takeoff with our aviation enthusiast. He is Richard Kaplan.
Thank you, Howie. A couple of weeks ago, a Emirates Airbus A380 made an emergency landing at JFK because there were over 100 passengers sick with the flu. This is not unprecedented, and this is not unusual, despite what many people may think. But what made this such a big deal is that it was an Emirates A380. It was the one airplane that you don't expect to see things go wrong on, and yet it did. What happened was the plane made a landing in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, for the Hajj, for the pilgrimage, for Ramadan, and they took on passengers. And unfortunately, Howie, Mecca has a flu outbreak. They have a very serious flu outbreak, influenza. So they took on about, I believe, 200 passengers. I could be wrong. But there were more than 500 passengers on the aircraft on two levels. You have an upper level and a lower level. The upper level is first class and I believe ultra first class. The lower level is your economy seats. These are the economy passengers that got sick. And 100 passengers plus crew were taken to area hospitals. You had ambulances ready to go. And if this is going to happen anywhere in the world, I have to say I'm very proud that it happened in New York, because New York knows how to handle these situations. We've learned from the past, we've learned from 9/11, we've learned from crises that when something goes wrong, that's when New Yorkers spring into action more than you'll ever see. And I'm very proud to call myself a New Yorker, because JFK is our hometown airport and Kennedy handled it with flying colors. There were more than 100 ambulances, EMS, FDNY, Homeland Security, along with Border and Immigration on scene, ready to go. They knew exactly what they need to do. They sprung into action, and there were no casualties. That's what's remarkable, is the flu is not something to mess with. Any illness is not something to mess with, but the flu especially. They handled this so well. I've been in aviation for about 30 years, and for me to be impressed is a big deal. I was beyond impressed with the way that this was handled, Howie. They were ready for them. They isolated the aircraft. They screened each passenger. The CDC was there, checking on it, making sure that this was not just a fluke incident, making sure that it wasn't an outbreak of any kind. It was contained, and it was contained beautifully. And that's what you want. That's exactly how you want these situations to be handled. You want them to be handled quickly, efficiently, but more importantly, you want to make sure that they get the top care medical attention that they deserve. There were 9 others who were sickened and were evaluated and refused further medical attention, but despite this, at least they were offered medical attention. Not every airport's ready for this kind of situation. I don't know if an airport like, say, maybe Tampa or Fort Lauderdale would have handled it the same way. Well, then again, they can't accommodate A380s, but the reality is New York can. And New York was ready, and they handled it.
All right, great job, Rich Kaplan, and let's kudos to the airport for doing a great job. Thank you, Rich Kaplan.